Hello again and welcome to Channel Gap. My name's Jason Reynolds and I'm here with Laurie Carr, who is a Senate candidate for Western Australia in the agricultural region. How you going, Laurie?
Yeah, good, Jason. What about yourself, mate?
Very good, very good. But today we're going to be speaking about employment and industrial relations. I mean, this is a hot topic. It affects people in a lot of significant ways and probably a lot of unseen ways, especially within industrial relations and how that is managed and the impacts it's having continually, not just on this generation, but the ones beyond if we don't get ahead of that. So, Laurie, what do you feel is the best way forward for employment in Western Australia?
Forgive me if I get a little bit heated and a little bit passionate, but this is something I feel very strongly. This is a problem, Jason. We've given away our manufacturing capacity here in WA. We literally used to be a powerhouse for Australia where we're manufacturing ships and vehicles and a whole swathe load of stuff that we used to do. It's now being done overseas. So this is what I'd like to see happen. I'd like to see Western Australia get its manufacturing capacity back and therefore provide opportunities for people to be employed. I mean, what's the point of sending money overseas when WA's future is its personnel, its people, the people that need to be employed, that needs to generate finance and bring money back into WA. So my vision would be to start looking at programs that benefit WA in employment, but finding people to suit those jobs, rather than just sweeping the board and say, right, everyone's going to dig holes. We need to look at people's aptitude and get them employment they're going to be happy with and will continue to do. I mean, a happy employee is someone who's going to remain employed.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of part of that is culture, but when there's leadership from government, that definitely comes down into all forms of business that drive employment and bring a level of inspiration to the people that they're working with. So, great point. And what about as far as industrial relations go, as we lead into this topic for the first time? What is your opinion on industrial relations within WA?
That is a loaded question, Jason, but I'm glad you asked it. I just want to take this opportunity now to publicly acknowledge the work that unions have done, both in WA and in Australia. I mean, they've given us the 888. They've given us our working conditions and safety conditions that we labour under. And I want to support that. But most importantly, I want people to be aware that they can join unions. It's voluntary. If they feel that they want to join a union, they should do it. And GAP actively encourages that. I'd like to continue with a firm industrial relations with both unions and subject matter experts and the rest of the people that are running the employment issues here in WA. And I personally believe GAP has the best platform possible and the best policies in place to do that.
I mean, as we know, and I suppose just to reiterate, GAP's policies are all driven by the document that provides us with and preserves our rights in all areas of life. The ability to choose, the ability to become informed and give consent based upon that information through a transparent platform, which government should be, and we intend to bring to that. So I wanted to just ask you one last question. I mean, how are you going to tackle it? It's a bit of a hot topic and rates are increasing. How do you intend to tackle youth unemployment in Western Australia?
Good question. From my perspective, I believe we should be looking at apprenticeships and traineeships. And we have an ageing population here, as you know. So we're losing a lot of experience and the expertise that has gone with the previous generation. So I'm thinking that perhaps we could get the more senior people that we have here in WA to train up our next generation of employees to impart their knowledge and get an active program of bringing up the new generation into the roles that best suit them. So that would be how I'd tackle youth unemployment. I mean, words are words, mate. It's time for action. So we should be really getting down and physically getting programs in place and saying, right, this is where we're going. What do you think's best for our youth? And how do we best get them employed? I mean, there's rural Western Australian that's crying out for work, literally. So if we could perhaps get a program in place where unemployed youth in the larger cities are used in rural areas and given, gainful employment, could be a perfect solution. I can't think of anything better that we could do apart from that.
Great, exceptional. I mean, and it's getting people being a part of the broader Western Australian community, giving life skills that they may not become present to in normal areas of life. So, great points, Laurie. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we close this session?
Like I said, I appreciate what the unions have done, and I'm looking forward to really getting Western Australia on a great manufacturing and industrial capacity in the future.
Beautiful. Thanks very much, Laurie. And remember, on March the 14th, West Australian elections, Laurie Carr, your representative in the West Australian Senate for Agricultural.
Hey, Jason, 13th, mate. The 13th.
Stand corrected. March the 13th, go out on the 14th. All right, and thank you very much for joining us today, Laurie. This is our first look into employment and industrial relations. There'll be much more to come. And until we see you next time, enjoy.
Thanks, Jason. Much appreciated, mate.
The Great Australian Party. Policies for the prosperity of all. Vote GAP for the restoration of the Commonwealth. Authorised by E. Nelson for the Great Australian Party, Level 1, 33 226 Beaufort Street, Perth, Western Australia, 6000.